Hello everybody and welcome to North 100, coming live from our brand new set. It's so pretty. If you're on the audio only version, I recommend, finding a picture or something, because it looks good. It looks really good. Anyways, I'm Serge. Joining me as always, I have a Jer.
Hello.
An Alex.
Yay.
And a Ben.
Hello, yes, I am Wheeler.
A reminder that everything we do, including North 100, is brought to you by you with your support over at the Patreon at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. All right, let's hop right into our opening segment. Today, the best card you're not playing. Up today, I have Alex. Alex, tell me your secret tech.
How come blue gets all the pay nothing spells?
It's the best color in Magic.
They're often parts of cycles. It's just the other ones aren't very
so
good.
Well, I don't know that this was part of a cycle, but we're talking about your homie Snuff Out.
Ooh!
It's a spicy one.
It's very, very spicy.
Tell me about this card. What is Snuff Out?
3 and a black, instant. If you control a swamp, you may pay 4 life rather than pay Snuff Out's mana cost. Destroy target non-black creature. It can't be regenerated. So this is like Doomblade with a can't regenerate clause. It costs a lot more to hard cast it, but you can cast it for free.
Free seems real good.
It's quite good actually. This is good in Black X aggro decks, because being able to just like wipe something out and not have to pay for it on the turn is really, really useful. It's in a sort of similar category as things like Dismember or like Slaughter Pact. You pay an alternate cost.
The alternate cost is 3 and a black, though, right?
Yeah,
which is a lot.
Definitely.
That's a lot.
It's like Force of Will. The alternate cost is 3 blue on that one.
Yeah. The main cost is 4 life. You don't even care too much.
Most of the time, you're going to be casting this for free.
So you'd imagine that most people would sleep on this card. You see 4 mana instant, or you see the 4 life, and you're like, nah. And you're like, no, this is actually the secret tech.
I mean, how often do you pay 4 life into Dismember?
Yeah, fair.
Lots.
Yeah.
Lots. And like this would kill something with greater than 5 toughness. So.
And no mana cost. Like Dismember, even if you're paying 4 life, still costs 1 mana.
Yeah.
Very
so
spicy.
You stick all your threats, or maybe even like a haste creature, blow up their only blocker and kill them.
One of the neat things when we were talking about this ahead was a hot take I was not expecting from Jer. What you're saying? Black is the best color in Highlander right now?
Yeah, we were talking at our monthly Cabal breakfast meeting yesterday.
Uh-huh.
What Cabal? Why am I
Cabal
not in there?
I meant council. And several of us were talking about how we think black decks in general are in the best spot they've been in a long time.
Mono black, or just any deck that has access
decks
to black?
that have swamps in them.
Huh.
Poor K.
It matches up well against what other people were doing. There's been a rise of these fast mana aggro decks, like the medium flavor of decks, and the black removal spells tend to be better against the red removal spells against those types of decks.
It's kind of a perfect storm.
Oh my god.
In that the variety of black decks have all benefited from the changes made to the points lists in the past year. And then the other, like Jared was saying, the other decks that have also benefited tend to have a bad matchup against the black cards. One of the big things with the medium decks is that Lightning Bolt doesn't cut it to kill a lot of the creatures that are really ending the game, but Doomblade doesn't care if Thundermaw Hellkite has 5 toughness. Who cares if Thought-Knot Seer has a big booty?
But Doomblade can't go to the dome.
True,
but you're not racing these decks anyways. And also, I was gonna say that the rise of combo has made it an even bigger incentive than normal to include discard in your deck, and so just having even a black splash has a really high value currently.
Just leave up your thought sneeze.
Yeah, very interesting. All right, let us move on to today's episode, and I'm excited about this. This is something that we have done in the past, and it's been a little bit, and we've never done it with Wheeler on the show. We are bringing back the Brewers Challenge. It's had a couple of different names. Build me a deck. Or...
So you think you can deck?
So you think you can deck? Yeah, a couple weird things like that. I don't know. I wasn't too creative. Previous hosts have included Liam, F for Liam.
He's not dead.
Oh.
And his last name starts with C, not F.
And you were the host another time too, Alex, is that right?
Yeah, I think I did it once.
Yeah. Well, today I'm the host.
Hey!
And this is how this works for Wheeler and for the audience if you're not familiar. I have prepared a number of 3-card lists. What I'm going to do is I'm going to name the cards, then we're going to go through the contestants. We're going to randomize the order, and they have to come up with a deck that has a home for those cards. And I'm going to pick a winner. So what's the primary colors of the deck? How does it win? And why should I pick your list? Yeah, so play to the judge. Definitely play to the judge here. I have prepared some very pretty full art Zendikar Cup Islands to hand out as not necessarily prizes, but just to keep score of what happens here.
They're prizes.
And don't look. These are my list. All right. So we're going to start it off pretty easy. This is a very open-ended answer for this one. So, Bayou, Taiga, Badlands. And I'm going to read the cards to chat, and then while that's happening, Jared's going to go first. We're figuring stuff out. So, Bayou is a land that is both a swamp and a forest. Taiga is a land that is both a mountain and a forest. And then Badlands is a land that is both a swamp and a mountain. So, I want to see who can sell me on the spiciest Jund list? Jer. Oh, sorry, one more rule. If somebody takes an archetype, you can't reuse it. So, yeah, Ben doesn't seem to be worried about this. But no reusing stuff. So if you go too easy, hoping to cut people on stuff, that might cost you.
Well, and if you're earlier in the picking order and you think someone else is going to choose a deck, you could also just choose that deck.
You can cut them.
To goozle them. You can hate draft. So
that's an important rule. Okay.
Just to clarify, because cards, at least for this round, the cards that we're using are kind of generically, there might be a bit of a cohesive theme surrounding them being Jund, but they are very much just lands.
Yes, yeah. So this is very open-ended. This is the warm-up round.
Right. But what I'm trying to get at is
it doesn't necessarily have to be focused around those cards.
But does it have to evoke some kind of flavor from the
just
cards?
Play to the judge.
You might get bonus points for doing it. You might not.
Exploration, crop rotation.
Go on. All right, Jer.
All right, so Serge served us up a softball with this one, but I'm not going to take the easy answer. I'm not going to take lands.
Okay.
I'm going Jund aggro. I'm going triple Mox.
Ooh.
I'm going heavy 3-drops, lots of haste. That's the best thing Jund aggro gives you is lots of either really huge or really aggressive cards. Like Amit Eternal is a recent card that I haven't played enough with. I played it a couple times and I've been pretty impressed.
The old 3-mana 5/5, eh?
Judith Scourge Diva definitely finds a home in this list. Some really sweet new cards. You could try out some of the other I forget the Rakdos mechanic spectacle cards.
Yep.
Brixmati Reveler is a card I've been wanting to try out, so I'd try that out in here. But I'm going Jund aggro.
Interesting.
3 Moxes, lots of aggression.
Very classic
face.
Jund amount. Very nice, Jer. Alex.
Blue-white control. Just kidding. This is actually one that I've been wanting to make for a while. It's I Can Count to Jund. It's the Jund Counters deck. It's a sort of an expansion on a sub-theme that I had with Golgari aggro, where it's +1/+1 counters matter.
Okay.
So you have the deck that plays stuff like, this is Winding Constrictor.deck.
Yeah.
So your 1-drops you have like Carrion Feeder, Experiment 1, Falconwrath Noble, is it?
No.
Noble's the Blood
Stromkirk Noble.
Stromkirk Noble, that's the one.
The classic Bloodhull Ooze.
I was gonna which red cards get +1/+1 counters?
More than you think. Did you know that Bloodthirst is a mechanic heavily in red that gets a lot of counters? Yeah. So this is looking to play cards that are fine on their own and see a lot of play. Things like what's that Highland Berserker guy though? He's like a 1/1 with Bloodthirst 2.
Stormblood
Berserker. That kind of card.
Yeah.
That shows up in these decks anyway. you just cram all of those together
yeah.
and then add a couple of little synergy cards. You know, it's like your Avatar the Resolute becomes even more insane. You can maybe slide in stuff like not Drag Mangler,
the juice.
The juice. I mean, technically as counters, but it's like you're able to sort of use that sub theme of there being counters to increase the overall power through synergy.
All right, very nice. Wheeler, what you got?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Serge. When you think about Jund, what are some of the most powerful cards that pop up into your mind when you cross the individual colors? If you say black, you got like Thoughtseize, you got Duress, Fatal Push, you know, cards like that. Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, Gamble, you know, cards like that.
Everything is 1 mana so far. Is
yeah, well, they're cheap instants and sorceries. And another thing that these colors are really good at is recursion. You know, regrowthing, buying cards back, life from the loam. What I'm trying to get at is a Jund Pyromancer deck that has not necessarily a self-mill kind of package to it, but a bit of an emphasis on using cards from the graveyard. I'm talking Life from the Loam. I'm talking Flame Jab. I'm talking Raven's Crime. We're using our graveyard for all these cheap Jund spells, getting turned on through cards like Entomb, Faithless Looting. You can get there with like Grizzly Salvage if you really want to go deep. I really want to do a Punishing Fire Grove of the Burn Willows, which we can tutor out with another cheap spell, Crop Rotation.
How else do you win?
What? I just listed how you win. You get a young
Jab.
You get a young Pyromancer in play.
That's 1 in 100.
And you go to town. You can kill them.
Demonic Tutor,
You can kill them every
Tutor.
which way. I don't know, you could get a Kalitas in play. You're in Jund. Killing them is easy. You're never lacking stuff. You're never looking at a hand of like Bloodbraid Elf and Lightning Bolt and you're like, oh my god, how am I going to close out this game? You just want to get there. And the way that you get there and drag things out are by cracking a Pernicious Deed to blow up everything they have. Punishing Fire their entire board. Getting a little spicy.
To shift a little bit more mid-rangey.
No. We're low curve. You're low density of threats. I'm not looking to actually play much above 3. Aside from, again, maybe some Haymaker if we're so worried about closing the game. But really, you're just getting down to cheap, efficient cards that have some kind of synergy with putting them in the graveyard, getting them back, and just really, Junding them out.
How many lands are we playing, Ben?
Well, this is going to be a little out of my norm because we're above 30 lands, but I would say probably 35, 36.
Wow,
Interesting.
That's many.
All right, so it's time for the score round here. Jer went very classic Jund. I had a clear idea what he was going for. Ben, I don't feel like you really strayed that far off from what anyone else was doing. I feel like you could have leaned a little bit more into something. I mean, it could have been different in your head, but the way you sold it wasn't quite there. But ultimately, I'm going to give it to Alex. So Alex gets our first Cup Island there, 0.1. Just some little bit more interesting. I'm not much of an aggro player, so that one didn't really jive with me.
This was aggro too.
I had Crop Rotation in my deck.
All right.
It's not an I win button.
Why are you slipping him a 20?
Round number 2. I've got Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, Chain of Plasma. So, first card, Lightning Bolt, 1 mana for a red instant, deal 3 damage to any target. Chain Lightning, single red for a sorcery, deal 3 damage to target. I think it's been errata to any target as well. Mm-hmm. And then there's some more words. Then that player or creature's controller may pay red. If they do, you may copy the spell and choose a new target. And then finally, Chain of Plasma, 2 mana instant for 1 in red. This one's wordy. Chain of Plasma deals 3 damage to target creature or player. Then that player or that target's creature, then the controller may discard a card. If you do, you may copy it and select a new target. Pretty spicy here. Alex, start us off.
Spitmare.deck.
Well, let's start off with Spite Mare. What is a Spite Mare?
Okay, so Spite Mare is 2 and a pair of hybrid Boros mana. And I say this one specifically because there's several other creatures that have similar effects. Whenever Spite Mare is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target creature or player. This deck is going to be leveraging mostly Chain Lightning and Chain of Plasma to hit your own creatures to reflect that damage at your opponent and get additional casts and just have that damage go further. So you can have like Boros Reckoner, you can have some Mog Maniac.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going so far as to say Stuffy Doll?
I was waiting to hear, like, how big are we going
Maybe
here? How
Stuffy
all
Doll,
in are we here?
Stuffy Doll is 5 mana.
Tell me what Stuffy Doll. What does Stuffy Doll do?
Stuffy Doll is an 0/1 indestructible artifact creature that costs 5. Whenever it's dealt damage, it deals that much to target. You choose a player when it comes into play.
Yeah.
Whenever it's dealt damage, it deals that much to the chosen player, and then you can tap it to deal 1 to itself.
This card.
It's very silly. But yeah, I drafted up versions of this deck, and I wanted to do stuff like drop a Shivan Meteor on one of these things.
Yeah.
Are we blasphemous acting?
That was
Probably.
the spicy tech. Oh, that's so fun. All right. Powerful start. Wheeler.
So, the beginning is going to sound a little bit blasé. A little bit, I'm going to kill my opponent with a lightning bolt. I'm going to kill my opponent with a Chain Lightning or a Chain of Plasma. But I'm only going to cast it once, and it's going to kill them. And I only need to cast one of them. Because I want to get 1,000-Year Storm in play.
You legit just took my idea.
And I want to cast... So what I want to do...
1,000-Year Storm!
This is something I've actually been tinkering with lately.
Okay.
And this is... It fits the role perfectly.
Can you tell people what 1,000-Year Storm does?
So 1,000-Year Storm is a 6-mana enchantment that does nothing when you play it. But what it actually is, it's 4 blue and a red that says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, copy it for each other instant and sorcery that you have cast this turn before it. Then you can choose new copies, but I'm just clicking same targets over and over again.
I have legit played this deck in Standard on Arena, and it's a lot of fun.
So I'm looking to get out a Mana Flare or a Heartbeat of Spring, and I'm looking to just kind of go crazy, almost like a 3-color Heartbeat of Storm High Tide deck, where I'm just going to generate 1,000,000 mana, get all my spells reduced through cards like Goblin Electromancer, Baral, Helm of Awakening, just cost reducers. And I'm just going to generate so much storm. And then when it comes to decks like this, people always say, "Well, how do you kill me?" In fact, when I was testing out this list, the thing was, okay, I get it. You have 20 extra turns you're taking. You have infinite mana, and you can draw your deck.
I thought about Time Walk.
How can? Oh yeah, they're so good with Mana Flares because you poop down a Mana Flare, then you take an extra turn. And then you negate the fact that these cards are technically symmetrical. And then you just get to kill them in the most elegant way. Because everyone's like, oh, how are you going to kill me?
Attack them 10 times with Goblin Electromancer.
I mean, that's one way, but you can always just cast a Lightning Bolt, which also deals with Troublesome Thalias, even Mind Sensors, Spirit of the Labyrinth. So it covers your protection. And it kills them. And you don't have to have clunkier cards like a Stroke of Genius or a Grape Shot or whatever it may be.
Interesting. Jer.
All right, I have another idea. I'm playing to Serge this time. I'm playing blue-red hybrid combo control. So we got the we're just using the Chain Lightning and the Lightning Bolt for early removal. We're using the Splinter Twin package to combo win, but we have a second combo win in the deck. We have Chain of Plasma and Swans of Brynargle.
What's the Swans?
So the Swans is 2 Azorius Hybrid, flying 4/3. If a source would deal damage to Swans of Brynargle, prevent that damage. The source's controller draws cards equal to the damage prevented this way. And so since you're a blue-red deck, you can play the Swans for value. You can Pyroclasm, wipe their board, draw 2 cards. You can Anger of the Gods, exile their board, draw 3 cards. And eventually, once you hit your Chain of Plasma, you just win.
How do you win in a blue-red deck when you draw your whole deck?
Well, you have Pact of Negation and Force of Will, so you can't lose. And then you can just twin them next turn. You just twin them. You just twin. It's that easy. Well, if you have the mana, you can do it this turn.
So I legitimately want to make both of these decks now. I legitimately want to make both Ben's deck and Jared's deck. But Jared did play to the judges.
I said Swans.
The island goes to Swans. Oh, Ben, I might be building your deck next, though, just as a heads up.
Circle gets the square.
All right. The list is getting a little bit spicier now. The warm-up runs are done. Have a little bit of fun here. First card, Search for Escanta. Second card, Demonic Tutor. Third card, Oath of Druids. So, Search for Escanta is a 2-mana enchantment for 1 and a blue. I'm going to wait for it to get up. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may put it into your graveyard. Then, if you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard, you may transform Search. And the other side is a land. Let's not worry about the other side. Demonic Tutor is a 2-mana sorcery for 1 and a black. Search your library for any card, put it in your hand, and then shuffle your library. Oath of Druids, 2-mana green enchantment for 1 and a green. During each player's upkeep, if that player controls fewer creatures than target opponent, the player may reveal cards from their library until they reveal a creature. That creature goes into play. The rest of the cards go into your graveyard. Wheeler, you're up first.
Congratulations. It's an Oath deck. Well, you got Oath of Druids. There's a couple of ways that you can go this. I'm not too keen on pandering to the judge, unlike some of the other people at this table, so I'm not going to build you an Enchantress deck. That's just silly. Instead, what I want to do is mill my entire library. So I'm going to play Oath of Druids, and I'm going to play 0 creatures. So
0 creatures.
0 creatures, because who needs them? They're useless. We got Demonic Tutor to find Oath. We got Search to help kind of find the pieces that we need, or find removal, because, spoiler alert, we have no creatures, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to stem the aggression from opposing decks. But, thankfully, we can clean kill them by taking our entire library, putting it in the graveyard, casting Memory's Journey, to just put a couple of key cards shuffled back in. So Memory's Journey is a neat little instant. That's 1 and a blue. Target player shuffles up to 3 cards from their graveyard into their library, and then you pay a green to flash it back. Okay. So when it gets dumped in, you can just pay a green and put the important cards, something like, I don't know, Yawgmoth's Will, maybe you've heard of it. It's a pretty good magic card when it comes to casting everything in your graveyard.
Okay.
And then from there, you can slice it, you can dice it, you can play a Black Lotus, maybe that Demonic Tutor that you mentioned, maybe...
For one of the 2 other cards in your library
No, 2 style on them, because you're just looking to get up to enough Storm to kill them with 8 Tendrils of Agony. Or you could do some shenanigans, because if you only shuffle in... 1 card or 2 cards or whatever it may be, we can. I don't want to play a creature. That's
right. That doesn't work.
Because if you hit the creature, you don't mill your whole library.
No. What I think, what you could do is a little bit of a spicy. You could set up a stack so that you shuffle back in Yawgmoth's Will and 1 other card. That other card would probably be a Beacon of Destruction. So a Beacon of Destruction is 3 red, but I have no intention on casting this outside of possibly a Near Infinite Mind's Desire. So Beacon of Destruction is an instant that deals 5 damage to any target, and you shuffle it back into your library. So I Mind's Desire instead of Tendrils, because, let's try to spice things up. We have 20 copies of Mind's Desire. The first one resolves, and looks like I just have this Beacon of Destruction. 5 to you. And then I shuffle it back into my library, which is 1 card. Beacon of Destruction. And then we do it again, and again, and again, and again.
Powerful start. Wow. All right. Jer.
All right. My deck is also an Oath deck. It's the build around card there. You have to be an Oath deck.
Yeah.
And my version also has Black Lotus, but there's 1 creature in my version. It costs 4. It's a white creature. Ben is perhaps familiar. It's Auriok Salvagers. It's a 3 and a white for a 2/4. Has an activated ability, 1 and a white. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. And so we're Bomber Oath.
They cost 1 or less.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, it has to cost 1 or less.
The old Oath Bomberman. Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
So the synergy here is that the Oath activation can actually help set up your combo, because you're always going to Oath into Salvagers. And so if you don't already have access to either Lion's Eye Diamond or Black Lotus or one of the spell bombs, you can play. There's 3 good ones, but you can play other ones if you want to get spicy. And milling them, putting them into your graveyard, gives you access to them because of the Auriok Salvagers, and you're going to have access to the mana immediately, because the turn you Oath, you're untapped. You have all your mana.
I always wonder what happens
already
if you hit the Salvager but you don't hit any of your payloads and you just have this 2/4 and you're just like awkward.
So you're probably not playing Oath of Druids unless you're reasonably certain of winning or you don't have any turns left. But you can also just play a reasonable Planeswalker control game with this deck. You have Search for Azcanta, you're playing Wraths, you can play cards like Moat. You don't need to attack to win the game.
This guy planting a moat in this deck for the judge? Come on.
It's just a good card in the deck. I've played this deck numerous times, included
The
Moat.
only person that said moat is a good
every
card in
time.
the past 10 years is Serge.
Whoa, hang on.
Fun, and symmetrical.
And then you can play some sweet Planeswalkers in this one. Narset Transcendent is one of my favorites. She's 2 blue-white for a Planeswalker. She comes in with a whopping 6 loyalty for a 4-mana Planeswalker, +1. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a non-creature, non-land card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. -2, when you cast your next instant or sorcery spell from your hand this turn, it gets rebound. And -9, you get an emblem with your opponents can't cast non-creature spells. I've actually done something sweet with the -2. I had a situation where I had Auriok Salvagers in play, and I just had a million counter spells, so my opponent couldn't do anything. And I had Narset in play, but I didn't have any ways to go find what I needed. And so I drew Entomb for the turn, and I minus Narset, cast Entomb, and then I Entombed Black Lotus, and then with the rebound I Entombed a spell bomb. So just set up the combo with the old Entomb.
All right. Alex, what you got?
Oath Baji.
Go on.
Huh? I don't actually know. Also known as Tin Fins. I don't actually know how to build this deck, but the best I could come up with is it's a Tin Fins deck. Hey, Liam. But you use Oath to find the one relevant creature, which is Grizzly Grizzlebrand, who Liam showed us is more of a draw engine than a creature that cracks your opponent to death.
Are you playing Emrakul in this version or just Grizzlebrand?
Just Grizzlebrand.
You're going for a very classic punch them to death Oath.
Yep. And I mean, like, Search for Azcanta is good, but you have a little bit of ability to dump him in the yard for your Reanimator package, which you're gonna just all you care about is finding this guy and making him go into play.
Are you playing Dragon's Breath?
That's the secret tech.
I mean, why? Oh, wait, I was about to say why play Dragon's Breath when you can play Anger, but there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Dragon's Breath. I think. Yeah, I like that one.
Can you tell people about Dragon's Breath? That's like old school Oath tech there.
Yeah, it's 1 and a red for an enchantment or an enchant creature. Enchanted creature has haste and fire breathing, and when a creature with converted mana cost 6 or greater enters the battlefield, you can return Dragon Breath from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to that creature.
What a nice pig.
It's a spicy pig.
It's a fiery pig there. Oh, that's the person now. So it goes. All right, so we have Classic, we have Bomberman, but ultimately I'm going to give the point to Ben because Ben surprised me. I didn't see a creatureless Oath Storm deck coming out of that option of cards there, and just for showing me something I didn't see coming. That got me there. I like that. All right, list number 4. We're going in a pretty different direction here. I hope you'll enjoy this. First off, Dack Faden.
The greatest thief in the multiverse.
Greatest thief in the multiverse.
So
Next
hot
up,
right
we
now.
have Deep Analysis. And then finally, we have Mission Briefing. So let's go over what these cards do. Dack Faden is a Planeswalker. 3 mana, one, a blue, and a red. Comes into play with 3 loyalty. +1, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. -2, gain control of target artifact permanently. -6, you get an emblem with whoever you... That's whenever. You get an emblem that says, whenever you cast a spell that targets 1 or more permanents, they're yours now. Deep Analysis is a 4 mana sorcery for 3 and a blue. Target player draws 2 cards. Flashback, play 1 and a blue, pay 3 life, and draw 2 cards. So you can basically, from your graveyard, pay 2 and 3 life and get 2 cards. And then finally, our last card, Mission Briefing. Blue instant, surveil 2, then choose an instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. You may cast it this turn. If that card would be put into the graveyard this turn, exile it instead. Jer, we're back to you.
So, Dack Faden's one of my favorite cards to brew around, and I usually take a different avenue than most people. I'm gonna port one of my favorite vintage archetypes over to Highlander, and in vintage they play Grixis Thieves. I'm gonna play 4-color Thieves. So we're gonna play Dack Faden and Dack Faden like effects, so draw 7s, in conjunction with Notion Thief and Leovold, in order to break the symmetry of these cards. So if you one of the main synergies of the deck is if you have Dack Faden and Notion Thief in play, you can target them with Dack Faden. They discard 2 cards, and you draw 2 cards. And if you draw 7 with Notion Thief in play, you draw 14, and they draw 0, and they get Mind Twisted. And Leovold isn't quite as good. You don't get their cards, but they get no cards, and you still get cards. So if mind rotting them is better than you looting, you can just mind rot them with Dack Faden's uptick, which is quite powerful. And other than that, you're just a control deck. So deep analysis works really well in the deck because you want to play lots of cantrips, lots of removal spells early. You're a mid-rangey control deck, so things like Faithless Looting I've been really high on recently, and just Graveyard Synergy in general. So both Deep Analysis and Mission Briefing work in the deck really well.
Holy moly.
Rebuying your draw 7s if they get countered can be really powerful with Mission Briefing. So 4-color Thieves. The green is just for Leovold, your base Grixis.
That's super cool.
Alex.
I want to cast Mizzix's Mastery targeting Enter the Infinite in a deck that's able to, leverage throwing stuff in the toilet a lot.
All right, so go through everything you're doing here.
Mizzix's Mastery is 3 and a red, sorcery. Exile target card that's an instant or sorcery from your graveyard. For each card exiled in this way, copy it. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Exile Mizzix's Mastery. It also overloads for 5 red. So if you're able to arrange for a spell that costs way too much mana, like, Enter the Infinite, you can cast it for 4. And Enter the Infinite is draw your deck.
Yep.
And then put 1 back.
And then put 1 back.
So you don't lose that turn.
Reason I thought about this is because the thing that all 3 cards you gave us have in common is that they either facilitate or benefit from putting cards in the graveyard. And so I think, this is a kind of a shoe-in build around where it's just like, I can set this up. I can find cards. I can toss this in the bin, cast it 8, 9, 10. That's 12 mana.
Yeah. What's your win con when you have your whole deck?
Oh, who cares?
Can I have my whole deck?
Please.
You have access to red and blue. You have your entire deck. I mean,
yeah,
there's swag ways. Yeah. You could probably come up with something stupid like what's.
I mean, Liam has stalled me a bunch of times.
Conflagrate.
Go on.
Oh, is this the deck that works with it? It's perfect. So Conflagrate is XX red. It deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of targets, and it has flashback for red discard X cards.
Oh my god. Okay.
I was trying to think of a deck that plays this, and I think I just figured it out.
That's so spicy. All right, Wheeler.
A2
Brute. Sorry, dude.
It's okay.
I thought I was going to be stealing this one from.
Oh, did you get sniped?
A little bit.
How did you snipe Conflagrate.deck?
Well,
nobody has said Conflagrate in 8 years.
Except in Modern.
Except in Modern. Yeah.
Well, who plays Modern? I'm
Dredge Station.
Not to throw,
sorry. Everybody who plays Modern, I love you. Apologies.
It's the most popular format. Anyways, not to throw myself under the bus, but I didn't think of Conflagrate. That's genius. My backup plan, which is actually I'm still kind of a big fan of this, is that a lot of these cards put cards in the graveyard. A lot of them draw into very specific cards. We have red and we have blue. Now, a card that what's a 2-color combination that you can think with red and blue that we're looking that would be quite good at killing the opponent? Well, I'm probably going to say
Harvest
something
Fire,
like
Boris Reckoner.
Nope. Let's go with Pestermite and Kiki-Jiki.
Okay.
We're not done yet, though. What's another red-based thing that we can cheat something out and probably just end the game with?
Sneak attack?
Nope. Let's go with Platinum Imperium.
Oh.
So this sounds pretty boring, right? What's another color that's really good at doing things from the graveyard?
Black.
Green.
We're going to do black. We're going to cast a Buried Alive.
Okay.
We're going to put a Karmic Guide, a Kiki-Jiki, and a Pestermite into play after we reanimate it. I'm going for a Grixis Combos Reanimator. This is going to be a whole bunch of cards. Basically, this is like a very... It's like you go to order the garbage plate, but you had a large breakfast. So you don't want to eat too much. But, you still want to take advantage of a cool restaurant that you're at. It's this. So I'm looking to really just have all this crossover combos through Splinter Twin style combo, reanimating something like Platinum Imperium, maybe even Platinum Angel if I'm feeling feisty. I don't know how I'm feeling right now. All I know is that I want to put cards in my graveyard, I want to reanimate them, I want to kill them. And I might even play Blood Moon in this 3-color deck. After getting sniped by Alex, I frankly don't know what to do, Serge.
I'm feeling punchy.
Yeah, I'm feeling punchy. I'm feeling like losing the game from my own card.
All right, so let's talk about this round. Alex, Conflagrate, very spicy. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, me neither.
Ben, apologies, but you said 2 forbidden words, Platinum Imperium.
Oh, no!
And Blood Moon.
Yeah. Blood Moon's okay, but I might have to take that island away from you. I might have to dock you a point.
Oh, did that...
But ultimately, the winner goes to the greatest thief in the multiverse, Jer, who stole that round.
Yeah, that was theft.
All right, number 5. Everybody knew this was coming.
Fast Bond.
Crucible of Worlds, Strip Mine Fast Bond. So, Crucible of Worlds is a 3-mana artifact. You may play land cards from your graveyard. Strip Mine is a land that says tap and sacrifice Strip Mine, destroy target land. And Fast Bond, greatest card ever printed in Magic, don't at me. Single green mana for an enchantment. You may play any number of lands on each of your turns. Whenever you play a land, if it wasn't the first land you played this turn, you get damaged. Alex.
So, I don't remember the name of the card, plural, but there's several effects that turn all your lands into creatures.
Rude Awakening.
Yeah.
Life.
Stuff like that.
Life.
Yeah.
Living Plane.
So,
Like Life
imagine,
of
if you will,
Yeah.
you have Crucible Strip Mine or Ramanep Excavator, what have you.
Okay.
And you're able to get a lot of lands in your bin, and then just play them all. And they're all 2/2s.
Yeah, all right.
And they have haste. You attack and kill your
Living
opponent.
Plane.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So literally kill them with lands.
I'm reaching here. Yeah, I mean, it's like strip blocking them is like the obvious play here.
You're like, yeah.
It's just like how it's like.
But then what?
But then what? Then how do you live with yourself, knowing that you have strip mined your opponent into oblivion?
It feels great. You just go to bed on a bed of their tears.
Have a cigarette. Yeah.
Wheeler.
So Strip's a great card because it can target any land. It can target your opponent's lands. It can also target your lands. One of the lands that can target is Tolarian Academy, which adds a whole heck of a lot of mana when you tap it, with enough 1 mana or 0 mana artifacts in play that I affectionately refer to as eggs. So what I'm looking to do here, and this might be cheating a bit because I have some experience playing this in tournament, is Fastbond, a card that's great with playing many lands. And how am I getting all these lands? Well, I'm playing a bunch of draw 7s. Crucible, which happens to be a 3 mana artifact that allows me to play lands from my graveyard, which happens when you're fetching and discarding lands off draw 7s, or if, I don't know, you have a Tolarian Academy in play that has like a Looney Tunes sized target on its head that says, blow me up, being able to rebuy that, and being a 3 mana artifact so you can tutor for it with a lot of the same tutors you're already running. And then Strip, just being able to blow up your own academy to create infinite loops with Second Sunrise and Faith's Reward. It's actually very, very potent, and something that is that was a factor in the Eggs decks of Modern and Extended, where you would Ghost Quarter your own land, so it puts 2 lands in the graveyard and you tutor up another one. But Tolarian Academy is a little more than 2 extra mana.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't even get past the part where you float mana off Academy, blow it up with Strip Mine,
Replay
put both back into play untapped.
Yeah, or Zurin Orb, which the deck's already playing.
You're like, pay 2 life, add 20 mana.
I will tap my Tolarian Academy. I will sacrifice it to Zurin Orb because my deck has always played Zurin Orb. I'll replay Tolarian Academy and go up 2 life. And I lose 1, but that's okay. I'll tap Tolarian Academy. And then slam a massive Walking Ballista and just take them to town.
Jer.
All right, so my deck here is a little less extravagant. We're playing green and white cards. We're a mid-range deck. All right, Granny Wheeler.
Crack a few eggs to make an omelet.
Yeah, so we're a green-white deck. We're a mid-range deck, and we decided, there's a bunch of combo in the meta, but we still want to play green and white cards, so we're adding in the lands package. It's the lands green-white mid-range deck. We're playing Crucible, Life from Loan, Strip Mine, Wasteland. We're playing the Crop Rotation, the Sylvan Scrying, the Expedition map. We're playing Azusa, Lost But Seeking. We're playing Ramanap Excavator, and because you're green and white, you have so many value tutors to set this up, just sort of incidentally, and your backup plan of just being a reasonable mid-range deck, attacking with Knight of the Royal Quarry, winning the game with Stoneforge Mystic. You have Knight of Autumn, Kasali Pride Mage to bash on someone trying to mess around with artifacts. I don't know who would do that. But, you have game against that style of deck as well. Play Manglehorn if you really don't want to lose to someone. I don't know who it would be, but or you could play Thalia Heretic. Cathar certainly gets in the deck, would shut down some sort of Tolarian Academy loop. If someone were trying to loop a Tolarian Academy,
I didn't realize I was going to spark some type of war here between Jer and Ben.
Taking off his glasses.
I've lost to eggs.
Oh no, Alex! I always take off my glasses before I go to bed.
Whoa, the diss.
I've lost to eggs a lot, so I've thought a lot about how to beat it.
Let's be respectful here. Yeah, I mean, you have created a deck that will kill Ben.
Yeah.
Well done.
So it may not win the challenge, but it'll win the match.
Thankfully, when he's blowing up my lands, I have a Crucible in play, so I get to play them back again and again.
We blew that up first, don't worry.
But I have Academy Runes in play.
All right, well, I'm going to play the role of Peacekeeper here.
Alex wins.
And warn around Alex.
I don't know what I'm doing,
The reason being, he leaned into the spirit of lands. Ben
literally.
Ben took the lands deck and was like, nah, not lands, artifacts. And Jer was like, nah, not lands, creatures. And Alex was like, but what about lands? And I was like, yes, what about lands?
Serge, do you like Tolarian Academy? You play it a lot?
You like Fastbond? You play it a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just checking. Because I gave you an option with both, but just checking.
All right. I only think we have time for one more round here.
Let's make it a good one.
2?
Dedicated winner.
3-way try.
Oh.
All right. You know what? Let's go with let me just red, blue, red. We haven't really talked about
Relentless Rats.
We haven't talked about any white cards here, so this is kind of an interesting one. This is list number 6, the last one we're going to do today. Lavinia, Azorius Renegade, Monastery Mentor, Psy, Master Thopterist. So Lavinia is a 2-mana 2/2 for 1 and a blue, legendary human soldier. Each opponent can't cast non-creature spells with converted mana cost greater than the number of lands they control. Whenever an opponent casts that spell, whenever an opponent casts a free spell, counter it. Then Monastery Mentor, 3-mana 2/2 for 2 and a white, human monk. Prowess, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you get a 1/1 white monk creature token that also has prowess. And then Psy. 3-mana 1/4 human artificer for 2 and a blue. Whenever you cast an artifact, you get a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature with flying. 1 and a blue, sack 2 artifacts, draw a card. So all 3 are creatures. We're in blue and white. And I think there might be some interesting ways to go with this. Wheeler, you're up first.
Well, I'm drawing inspiration from a great Highlander player who once played a blue-white based tempo or mid-rangey deck that had a heavy artifact theme, because that's an overlying synergy in all these cards, is that they're all pretty good with Moxes in play. Moxes are cheap, non-creature spells that happen to be artifacts. So let's say you play out a Psy, and then you have a Mox, and you make a dude. You play out a Monastery Mentor, you got a Mox, you make a guy. You have a land and a Mox, and you play a Lavinia, and your opponent can't play their Mox in. They can't do anything. So what I'm looking to do is build a blue-white based, somewhere between tempo and mid-range, that's really just trying to lock down what my opponent can do through a couple of different things. Maybe Aethersworn Canonist, which fits into the theme of the curve, as well as the artifact consideration of Psy, playing cards like Aegis of the Gods that could be found off Enlightened Tutor, just kind of have this package that all can conveniently be cast off of stuff like Aether Vial, another cheap artifact, non-creature spell, to pump out some goodies. And listen, I've been tapping a Gonjo Castle to prevent 2 damage to a legendary creature for a solid 15 years now. And I think this might have a home for that as well.
15 years, eh? That math almost checks out.
It's 2004.
Yeah.
Gal was 2004?
Yeah, I know. It's really depressing.
That's messed up.
That was a long time ago.
All right, interesting.
Everything's fine.
Jer, what you got?
So while blue and white are good colors, arguably my favorite colors, that's not true. White's not my favorite color, but blue-white's probably my favorite color combination. I'm going to add to it. I'm going to add red, and I'm going to go, we're playing Jeskai, Artifact, mid-range. So when you look at Monastery Mentor and you look at Psy, you want two types of cards. You want artifacts and you want non-creatures. Well, there's only one type of card that overlaps with both of them, and that's non-creature artifacts. So we're going to be... yeah, the math checks out. We're going to be playing lots of artifact mana. We're going to be playing draw 7. So we're going to be playing Paradoxical Outcome in order to rebuy our cheap artifacts and to generate tons and tons of creatures and draw more and more non-artifact creatures. So the key card in this deck, Paradoxical Outcome, it's going to make tons of Thopters. Psy lets you draw more cards to keep the wheels turning. Monastery Mentor is going to get huge, going to make the Monk army, going to win you the game.
Can you really quickly tell us what Paradoxical Outcome does?
Yeah, it's 3 and a blue for an instant. You return any number of target non-land, non-token permanents you control to their owner's hands. Draw a card for each card returned to your hand this way. So you're returning things like Grim Monolith, things like Moxes, things like Mana Crypt, things like Soul Ring, and netting mana off returning them to your hand, drawing a card for each one you return, and when you recast them, you're getting Thopters off Sai, you're getting tokens off Monastery Mentor, and Lavinia is there to make sure your things don't get disrupted by a Force of Will, by a Pact of Negation, stopping your opponent from developing things like Mana Crypt. So she's there for protection, disruption.
Alex.
Blue-white equipment with the tiniest little garnish of black for cranial plating and maybe for Thopter Foundry. Which, wait, can you cast that without black?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Blue-white.
Well, there we go.
You can also equip cranial plating without black.
So
Better with black, though.
Jer is correct that the overlap is non-creature artifacts, and equipment happens to be those two things at the same time. And equipment, you can get some that are pretty cheap. So we're talking like Bone Splitter. You know, you're getting maybe a Jite in here. You get your Stoneforge Mystic. The nice thing about at least two of the cards that you've shown is that when you play these equipment, it makes a homie to carry it. Maybe
a disposable homie.
Disposable homie. So this might also be like, I don't know, this could be Shuko.deck. This could be Bonesaw.deck. Bonesaw is ready. Shuko and Bonesaw are basically the same equipment, just their costs are backwards.
The difference between 1 and 0, Alex. Both Ben and I immediately were just like,
An
no,
ocean
no,
and a stream are basically the same thing. They're both water.
They give the same pump to the creature. Thank you very much. No, yeah, Bonesaw is 0 mana, equips for 1. Shuko is 1 mana, equips for 0.
They're both broken in different ways.
Yeah. So, you play out some critters that like having artifacts played. You're gonna have at least 2 Moxes. Probably, you might be able to slide the Artifact Cares Moxes in here, like Mox Opal maybe gets into this deck. You know, you're getting free effects off of playing cards that are giving you mana anyway. It's not going like quite as far on the free mana as Jer's deck, but you know, you have some threats. You like blue and white also has a lot of evasion creatures. Lot of evasion creatures. So, you know, more suitable things to throw this equipment onto. So,
all right, Alex.
yeah.
I'm thinking of a card. You get 1 chance. If you name the card I'm thinking of, you get the card.
Can we buzz in?
No.
What is Etch Champion?
It's not Edge Champion. Wheeler?
You're thinking of a card.
Yeah.
Oriok Steel Shaper?
Nope. Jer?
Leonin Shikari.
Oh, that's also another good one.
Pure Steel Paladin.
No! Yeah. Okay.
If Alex had said Pure Steel Paladin, Windmill Slam, that's the deck
that
there.
one just like floated past my brain as I was thinking about it. I was like, oh right, that one.
I knew it was going to be either Shikari or Paladin.
Yeah,
I was on the right track.
As soon as Alex said a free equipment, I was like, oh.
Well, that was...
So our final score, Wheeler with 1 point, Alex with 2 points, and our champion, Jer with 3. All right, let us move to our closing segment, Powerful Magic. And up today, we have Jer. Jer, tell me a story. You're pulling out your phone here.
Yeah, so
Ben, you can't
this
even
this
gush.
one happened to me when I was playing Highlander on my stream, which I started recently.
Yeah, you've been doing Highlander from home, right?
Yeah, pardon?
Highlander from home streams?
Yeah,
Heck
Homelander.
home streams.
Homelander.
There's nothing like playing Highlander in the comfort of your own home.
All right.
So I was playing against one of the homies from the Discord. Okay. And they were playing a wacky deck. I was playing Bant Blink.
Okay. As you do.
As I do. I'm known to do. And they were playing a Lich's Mirror combo deck.
Uh-huh.
This was game 2. And I had lethal set up on board. I had an Aether Vial on 4 and a Survival of the Fittest in play. I had a creature in my hand, and I passed the turn with lethal on board. I forget to set a stop in their draw step, so we missed the line that we were intending to do of survival for Resto the click and play.
Take anything they
take a good card in their hand. So they just get to go to their main phase. They get to cast Dark Petition, which I'm assuming is for channel.
Okay.
That resolves. They cast channel. I respond with Resto on Cleek because I'm like, I'll just take the payoff. This will be great. Like they don't have Lich's Mirror in play. They don't have, if they have Emrakul or whatever, I'll be able to take it in response. It'll be fine. So I see Ponder, Llanowar Elves, and Tendrils of Agony.
They just channel with nothing in hand?
Yeah, I'm like, none of this. Like they need to hit the Stone Cold Nuts off Ponder. Like, what's happening? So I'm like, I'm confused. I'm talking to my chat. I'm like, chat, what am I missing? Like, what's happening? And they're all like, take nothing, we win. And I'm like, yeah, I'll take nothing. Like, we win. And then they start paying a bunch of life with channel.
What?
And they tap a black mana. And then they flash back Increasing Ambition from their graveyard, which I entirely forgot about. And so, as I'm assuming you aren't, because that's just the reasonable state of things. Increasing Ambition is 4 and a black for a sorcery. Search your library for a card, put that card into your hand. If Increasing Ambition was cast from your graveyard, instead search your library for 2 cards and put those cards into your hand, then shuffle your library. And its flashback cost is 7 and a black, which is normally prohibitive. But if you're channeling, that's really just a black. So
they have channel online, and now they have any 2 cards they can find from their deck. What's their life total?
Not super high.
Okay.
So we went from like when we clicked them, we were like, awesome, can't lose, to when they flashback Increasing Ambition, I'm like, oh, super dead. So they get Lich's Mirror.
Yeah.
And they cast a Dark Ritual in their hand, and they don't have enough.
Okay.
They don't have enough Storm to Tendrils me yet. So because thankfully my Restoration Angel was vialed in with Aether Vial as opposed to cast. So they were 1 Storm off killing me. So they had to draw 7 with a Lich's Mirror, and they had black, and a colorless floating. So they draw 7. They cast Credit Voucher.
Oh, yeah.
What the heck is... What?
This is a good one.
Credit Voucher is a 2-mana artifact. 2 tap and sacrifice. Shuffle any number of cards from your hand into your library, then draw that many cards. So it's like almost Scroll Rack-esque for a single shot, but it doesn't stack them on top of your deck.
What?
So they do that for only 4 cards. So I'm like, well, some of their cards must be good. Then they cast Beseech the Queen, get Lion's Eye Diamond. And at this point, I'm just like, all right, like I must be dead. They only did it for 4 cards. They found a tutor. They cast Yawgmoth's Will, cracking LED for blue, discarding a bunch of cards in their hand. They recast the Credit Voucher and the Lion's Eye Diamond. Cast Mind's Desire, which they discarded for 13 Storm. They whiff like no one has ever whiffed on a Storm 13 Mind's Desire before. I think they hit 8 lands, 2 elves. The best card they hit off the Mind's Desire was Impulse. So they cast the Impulse, which actually finds another Lich's Mirror. So then they cast the Lich's Mirror.
Oh my god!
They misclick and don't hold priority on Credit Voucher to resolve after the Lich's Mirror. They meant to activate the Credit Voucher, then hold priority and use the channel to dunk their life total. So they reset, but they mistakenly didn't hold priority there. So they just got to draw 7 off the mirror. They cast another Ponder. Then they cast Demonic Consultation with only black and a colorless floating.
Because Channel's been online this whole time. Okay.
Yeah.
Name a card.
They name a card. They name Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn.
Yeah.
It's in their top 6 cards, and I win. It was the most insane turn I've seen in so long. It went from like being like how did we lose to, oh my God, we're so dead, to like, maybe there's a chance, to like, what's even happening, to, oh, we're dead again, to, oh my God, we won.
Powerful magic.
Yeah, it was insane.
That's really funny. Cool.
What?
I had to write it down. There's no way I would have remembered that.
Yeah, you're like, I'm just going, that's quite the ride your opponent took you on there. That's super fun.
Yeah.
Real quick, what's your Twitch channel if people want to check out your Highlander streams?
Oh, yeah, my Twitch channel is twitch.tv/JRHWhite.
Awesome. So if you want to watch some Highlander content, you have it there. Well, friends, that's our episode for today. Thank you to my contestants for playing the Brewers Challenge today. I hope you enjoyed that. Congratulations to our champion, Jer, who obviously knows me best. Better luck next time, Ben. I recommend you avoid the words Platinum and Purian. Anyways, a reminder that everything we do is brought to you by your support over at the Patreon at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next episode. Bye.